Beyond the North Wind, Chapter 7. Sigrid was at my side when I awoke, a cup of steaming berry juice in her hand. I sat up and took the cup. The drink was sweet and restorative. Sven hated berry juice. People's tastes change, I said, putting the cup down on the floor. The fire was embers only, day dull outside. People change their tastes to help others, she said. Thank you. She left the room and was replaced by Siv. You have done a remarkable thing, man who is not Sven, she said. I have never heard of anything like it. I rubbed my face and touched my hair. I didn't want to look in the mirror because I would see Sven, who would soon die of a heart attack. You cannot stay here any longer. Siv said the words pleasantly. We are getting closed down. Too many illegal immigrants. I felt tired again, the long road ahead of me. I sat up, remembering that tiredness was a warning and a trigger. We have a friend you can stay with. More charity? I asked. I need to make my own way. He would like someone to record life in his villa. Siv was dressed in a blue suit with a yellow blouse. She looked professional, the mediator of Sigrid's strange therapy session. Will Sigrid be okay? I asked. Siv nodded. She's talking openly about Sven now. She waved at the walls of the room. Soon more of his photographs will reappear. I could feel her eyes bearing into me. You have a big heart, big enough for the whole world. I went to the bathroom. The man in the mirror laughed at me. Hello, blondie. Nice haircut, shame about the roots. It was a new me with a new beginning. But where was I going? Siv called me to lunch and we sat outside, behind the house on a large table carved from oak and on similar seats to the one near the cliff. We had filmed our scenes together. Post-production beckoned. Heinz will take you to a bus stop on the E6 near Rotsund. You will meet a man called Martin at noon. Here is his number if you need it. The owner of the villa? No, his assistant. The owner's name is Berkeley. Everyone needs an assistant, I said, finishing my meal. Sigrid and I hugged. The bristles of my blonde beard scratched her face. She turned away without a word and went back to the house. I shook hands with Siv like two professionals complimenting one another on a job well done, like I made a business of hiring myself out as a cure for death. Good luck, she said, and gave me a leather pouch with 1,000 kroner inside. Make something of yourself. You have all the skills. I have too many skills. I am a dangerous man. I could do anything. Heinz was waiting at the quay. So, you're leaving? That is a shame. He looked me up and down. You'll find someone else, I said, but he didn't hear me. After a short boat trip, Heinz pointed the way along the E6 to the bus stop, a yellow pole on the side of the road. Martin will meet you there. He checked his watch. In an hour. He gave me a curt wave as he returned to Sigrid. The bus stop had no timetable, only a black 2-4 and a white sign on top of the pole. A few cars rolled by, and I looked out for someone who might be stopping early and who might be called Martin. Even if Morton turned up, he would never recognize me. I was disguised by my new Scandinavian look. I really did have the chance of a new beginning. The bus stop was on the corner of the road, and the sea broke over the rocks below me to my left. I clambered down the slope and was out on the rocks and the slow slope into the surf. This place was paradise. Blue sky, gleaming sands, granite rocks. I couldn't believe my luck. I had been invited to work with someone here in my new country. That would take care of any legal issues. I was welcome here. Somebody wanted me for my skills. I had money in my pocket and a new passport. I was legal. I had finally found my way into the world, although I will admit the route was a little random. I spotted something floating in the water. The object bobbed up and down, was finally washed up on the surf and sat on the sand, half in and half out of the water. I walked across the rocks and then the wet sand to find out what it was. The object was tossed toward me on the tips of the waves. It was a mass of fibrous material that sank down on the beach like a ball of wire wool. Unrolled, it turned out to be a large black coat with arms and a hole for the head. I moved away from the shaggy coat, shrinking back to the rocks, waiting for the waves to deliver its owner, bloated, bitten by sea creatures, gasping for air, reaching out to the world, trying to hold on. Nothing more emerged from the sea. The mountain man had been filled with the freezing water of the Arctic Sea and had been pronounced dead on a trawler. The moment needed no commemoration. I scrambled away from the totem as if it had the power to take my own life. There was a man waiting by a car when I got back to the road. He introduced himself to me as Martin. He was a short, happy-looking fellow with tufts of white hair sticking out from around his ears and bald head that made him look like Schopenhauer. "Are you Alexander?" he asked. What a question. Once upon a time, yes, but life moves on. "Call me Sasha." I extended my hand, and he gave it a warm, welcoming shake. "You come highly recommended from Sigrid. I hope we'll be able to find you something fitting of your talents." I nodded and did not further comment. The car was warm. Martin was clearly benevolent. I was on my way.